Hello, hello, hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, sounds good. How's it going? Angel, right?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you? Yeah.
Nice to meet you,
Nice to
brother.
meet you. Yeah.
How you doing today? You doing good?
Yeah, I'm just, watching the Euros right now, soccer.
Hey, there you go. Nice, nice,
Yeah. How
nice.
about you?
Me, just had some breakfast. About to head out to the gym. Um, actually, what game are you watching right now? Of the Euros?
I'm watching England versus Slovakia.
Oh, really? Okay, that's cool. So,
Yeah.
I actually
Yeah.
work at Levi Stadium right now. Here in Santa
Okay.
Clara, and we're actually having Venezuela, and I forgot who they're playing, but I'm gonna
Jamaican.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna get to go to that game on Tuesday. On Tuesday, yeah, yeah.
That's fire. That's good.
It's a pretty
That's
cool
what's up.
job.
Yeah.
So I've been at that job for about like what 2 years now, and it's been pretty cool. Going to all the free 49ers games, all the free concerts, and it's an
That's fire.
experience for real. It's an experience.
What do you do there?
So I do. It's called logistics, which is basically an
Okay.
insider position that helps set up for the event, watch the game.
That's
You know what
fire.
I mean? Yeah, it's a
This
pretty
looks
cool
fire. That's
gig.
interesting.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool
Yeah.
gig. But what about you though? I know you're not from here, from California. You're in Texas, right?
I'm from Houston, yeah, Texas.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah. I'm a barber here, and I work with my cousin. He has a landscaping company, so I
Oh, really?
work with him on the side as well. Yeah,
Oh,
and
that's
then I go
dope.
to college in Boston.
Oh, in Boston?
Yeah, at Bentley University.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
So right now you're on like your summer break.
yeah, my summer break. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. And you've lived in Houston your whole life, or?
No, I was born in Brooklyn. Well, I was born in Queens. I grew up in Brooklyn, and then I
Oh,
moved to Houston in 2019, and I've been
2019.
here.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay, okay. That's great to hear. And what are you studying in
Right
Boston?
now.
Uh-huh.
Right now I'm studying finance and law.
Okay. Finance and law, and you're going to school in Boston, which is like in person.
Yeah,
Okay, okay,
yeah, so it's a different experience and stuff. Yeah,
that's cool to hear. Yeah, you're pretty much all over the place. Because for me, I've been in California pretty much my whole life. You know what I mean? So
uh,
yeah, and you mentioned you were a barber, right?
correct. Yeah,
How's that going for you? That self-employed?
um, yeah, it's going good right now. I cut at home. At
Uh-huh.
college, it's like where it really blew up. Like I'm like cutting so many kids in my dorm,
Mm.
like all over, like Boston, like the Boston colleges. Some people come from like their colleges to my college to my dorm to get cut. And here in Houston, I work at a barber shop, but it's like pretty far from where I live at, so it's like a drive.
Uh-huh.
So, I'm like sort of expanding my clientele there and sort of getting
Wow.
people from like, and I'm also going back to New York, like, for like trips and stuff. So,
Uh-huh.
I have people too. So it's kind of have like people everywhere.
Wow, wow. That's cool. Yeah, because I know a
Yeah.
couple people that, got into, being a barber like right after high school in college, and it's a pretty good deal, you know what I mean? Especially, if you're licensed
Right.
and you know what you're doing, you got clients coming back, loyal customers, and that's really what you're looking for, right?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good to hear, man. And some landscaping too, right? You're doing that on the side. That's what my dad does
Mm-hmm.
as well, you know. So he's still working right now. Uh, but what about you? Are your parents still working?
Oh, you said what? You got
Are your
food.
parents still working right now?
Yeah, my mom recently, she took a break from work, sort of like, focus on my little siblings.
Wow, okay.
But my dad, he's a flooring like contractor too. So
Mm.
he goes like right now he just got back from Wyoming,
Oh,
and
Wyoming.
he just like does flooring. He's always doing like these business deals for everybody.
Uh-huh.
Everybody,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah, that's very similar to what my dad does. So he does flooring, roofing, gardening. He does everything. And he has a couple
Wow, yeah,
clients here, especially in like, the wealthier parts of the Bay Area. That's where he goes, just
yeah,
to make some money. And yeah, I mean, you also have some younger siblings, I heard you mention.
yeah. I have three younger siblings.
Okay.
One of them, my sister, she's going to college
Hmm.
here in Victoria. She's playing soccer. She got a like a soccer scholarship,
Oh, wow.
so she's gonna play.
That's
Yeah, and then
good.
my other siblings, they're yeah, one other sibling's a freshman and my other one's a fifth grader.
Oh wow, okay. So they're still pretty young,
Yeah,
and I imagine
yeah.
you look out for them as well, watch over them, and
Mm,
that's
of
good to
course,
hear.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. For me, I'm the youngest sibling, but my sister she actually has four kids. So
Wow.
yeah, so they came over last week for the summer, and I got to see my nieces and nephews again, and they're growing up so big. It makes me feel so old.
Man.
Yeah.
Nah,
So
yeah.
yeah, that's good to hear. I mean, pretty much for this meeting today, it's more or less for us to get to know more about each other. Obviously,
Of
we
course.
talked a little bit on LinkedIn about a business opportunity. So I'm kind of
Mm.
interested, like, what caught your interest, from like the messages that I sent you.
Not yet. So, I was like, I'm like, recently, I'm like, I'm trying to make like more money.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to, sort of expand my connections, expand my networking. I just got back from a business conference in Denver
Uh-huh.
from that my school paid for. So, they're like really like, about like taking risks, getting to meet people from all over, the US, the
Uh-huh.
world even. So I was like, I was like very like, open-minded, and I've always been open-minded with like, meeting different people, expanding my business, sort of doing the things that my parents couldn't do as a first gen student. So it's like, that's
Wow.
what kind of like, come so and then seeing that you're like, a business entrepreneur, like you said, you have your own like, you're working all these crazy like, like Levi Stadium. It was like,
Yeah.
something that like I'm like, that's crazy. Like I want to do something like that too.
That's great to hear. That's I really see, that ambition that you have because you mentioned you were a first generation,
Mm.
right? So your parents, they came from. My parents were immigrants too. They, crossed the border in Mexico. My dad actually lived in Houston for a while, before I was born. So, where are your parents from?
They're from Puebla. Where are your parents from?
Oh, okay. So my mom, she's from Jalisco, and then she lives in a small pueblo called Manzanillo, and then my dad, he comes from San Luis Potosí.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I've actually
Yeah, I
been to
know a lot
Mexico.
of people from there.
Oh, really? Have you ever been to Mexico?
Yeah. I was there my first time last summer.
Oh, wow, the
It was
first
a
time.
different experience.
That's good. That's good. How'd you like it?
No, I liked. I mean, the food was like it was amazing. I
Oh
was like,
yeah.
wow.
Oh yeah, the food's the best part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many times have you gone?
I've only gone once, which was when I was young. I
Wow.
was like 12 years old. So I'm hoping to go back soon, because my mom, her mother passed away. My abuela, she passed
Uh,
away, and then the house basically, went to each of her kids. So, my mom's gonna go down there soon to like get on the same page, with my tío and my tías, and
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
gonna come with them, just to support and just for the experience, you know what I mean?
No, of course. Yeah,
But
no, that's good.
yeah, that's great to hear that you're someone who's got that extra ambition. Like I said, this meeting today is just for us to get to know each other more because what we're doing here is long-term business. There's a lot of information. It'll be hard for me to explain to you just in this like quick Zoom call. So that's why we have
No, yeah.
a selection process because we don't partner with everybody. You know what I mean? We only partner with those who show us, they have that ambition, that willingness to learn, and that there's some trust between us, right? Because if we're doing long term
Of course.
business, obviously we got to trust each other, right? We got to see if our core values align. So that's why, today, I'm just gonna share my story with you. I heard a little bit about you, and just to see if like we're on the same page on things. You know what I mean? So how does that
Mm-hmm.
sound?
No, that sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, after you shared a little bit, I'll be happy to share a little bit about myself. So, I know you said you were first generation. I am as well. My name is Tona. I'm still a student here. I'm studying finance in San Jose State. And I came here. I was born here, right? Both my parents were immigrants, super low income family. It's something we've always struggled with. I feel like you can relate to that, right? Because
Yeah.
most immigrant families, they struggle with that. So I've been working, jobs since I was 15, since I started high school to help pay bills, help pay rent, you know, to support my family so we can afford to live here in the Bay Area. And, it's been hard, but it's always been something that I was willing to do. I feel like as first generation, I feel like you can relate with this that they came to this country to give us a better life, right? So
Exactly. Yeah.
there's like that obligation, like that feeling inside that it's up to you to like make us get out, get us out the mud. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've always had that mindset. Neither of my parents, they didn't graduate high school. They never went to college. So when I graduated high school and I went to college, I'm like, okay, this is how I'm gonna make it out, right? But then I quickly realized, college is just teaching you how to get a job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most people don't really realize that college doesn't teach you how to, pay your taxes, budget your finances, invest your money. They really just teach you how to be an employee, right? Regardless of what major you are, that's really what they're focusing on. So obviously everyone needs their career, right? Everyone needs a job, everyone needs money, everyone has bills to pay. So it makes sense. But in my own time, I was looking for something more. You know what I mean? And it wasn't always business. I'm not someone who has a bunch of fresh ideas and stuff like that. So what I started with was day trading. I started trading stocks while I was in high school. Have you ever had any experience before with investing or anything?
No, I've been trying to, look
Uh,
into that, but it's like seems very complicated to me.
it is. It is. Trust me, it is. I was in high school trying to understand it all. Waking up early every morning to catch the market, and
Yeah.
it really wasn't sustainable. You know what I mean? What I was doing was putting like hundreds of dollars from my paycheck every week into some stocks. And I was thinking, I was a big investor, but what it really was just gambling. You know what I mean? It's no different from like real estate or anything like that. It's really just gambling. And I didn't realize that at first, but heading into my first year of college, finished up my first semester on campus is where I actually met my business coach, and she's the one who introduced me to this business opportunity. And she was a senior, so I was a freshman, she was a senior, and I was able to learn from her. But the best part was when she took me to this huge business seminar. I don't know about you. Have you ever gone to like any big networking events or business seminars before?
Yeah, the one I recently just got back done.
Oh yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, there's a lot of sharp people there. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So I was able to humble myself and learn from people. And the one guy who really got my attention was my current mentor, which was her mentor at the time. And this guy's a hot shot. He retired. He did the same business and retired himself at 21. That's pretty crazy,
that's
right?
crazy.
Have you ever met anyone
Yeah.
that retired that early?
No,
It's crazy, right?
no.
He even retired
Yeah.
both of his parents at 24. It was insane to me. It's unheard of, really. And, you know,
Yeah.
the same time, it is impressive. I was also a little skeptical. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, if you were able to do this so young, I'm kind of questioning what you were really doing. Like, is this illegal? Is this some type of scam? But
No, yeah.
I was there in person, so I got a chance to talk with him. So his name is Phil. He's a international student from Vietnam, and he had a similar story with us. Once I heard his story, he also came from low income background. Was so I asked him. I'm like, hey Phil, I saw what you were able to do. I was impressed by the wealth you were able to achieve, and as long as what you did is legal, as long as it's ethical, I'm like, can you teach me? I want to learn from you. I want to have what you have. He started his business when he was 19 years old, and I'm around that age right now. So that's why I hold myself to some higher expectations to achieve a goal like his. You know what I mean? And so I
Hmm.
asked him, and you know what he told me? He said, "Okay, Tona, I go to a bunch of business events every week, and hundreds of entrepreneurs tell me they want to learn from me every single day. So my question to you is, what makes you different?" And I froze up a little bit. You know what I mean? I didn't really know what to say. He got me. You know what I mean? I'm telling him, I'm like, oh, this is my resume. These were my grades in my first year of college. He didn't care about any of that. He didn't care about any of it. He said, "Your resume does not tell me anything about you." What he was looking for was my accountability. If my words matched my actions, he cared about my character. You know what I mean? If if my values matched his. So that's why, we have a selection process in here. I explained a little bit about it earlier because we're really keen on partnering with the right people. You know what I mean? So this first step, like I explained earlier, is more or less for us to get on the same page with each other. But if this is something, that piqued your interest and you'd like to learn more, then after this meeting today, we can maybe meet up again. I can introduce you to some of my business coaches and we can talk a little bit more about the business details. So that's more or less what the
Yeah,
process looks like. You know what I mean? You're not going to get everything right away, but if you just take some time to just you know, help educate yourself. Because what we do here is this is it's not a complex business, but it's a lot. You know what I mean? It takes some
yeah,
time for people to understand. So throughout the process, we have a lot of videos, books, education to help people, learn what type of business this is, how it compares to other businesses. Like I know you're doing self-employed business. A lot of people come in here with their own business backgrounds, and yeah, the process is just to take some time to, for you to evaluate us, but also for us to evaluate you. Does that make sense?
yeah.
So it's pretty basic, you know what I mean? But that's enough sharing from me, you know what I mean? Obviously right now I'm still a full-time student. I still have my careers. Right now I'm working at Levi Stadium and I'm also working at Meta. And just in my own time, this is what I do. I build up my own asset to create that source of passive income. So by the time I graduate college, I don't have that need for a job. You know what I mean? Because what I see is a
Hmm.
lot of people graduating and the job market is just cooked. You know what I mean? So that's just it's just my backup plan. You know what I mean? So that was just a little bit about me, why I got started and where I see myself going with this business. So I'm kind of interested about you know what I mean? Like what in your upbringing led up to, you being a barber and studying and going to school in Boston.
Yeah. So I lived in New York like most of my life.
Uh-huh.
My dad, he would go out, he would go out of state like frequently. So it's like, just me, being kind of like taking that role as, that role model for my siblings.
Uh-huh.
And my mom's always instilled that belief that, like you said, like, they came here for a better future,
Right.
so I don't want to let them down. And I have that, like that sort of like role that I'm the oldest. I gotta do what I gotta do to
Yeah.
support my family and sort
Right.
of like open that pathway for them to success and sort
Mm-hmm.
of break that wall that's there.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was instilled in me as like a young age. And barbering and all that. I've always wanted to make money. I've always wanted to provide for my family.
Uh-huh.
Give them what they want and sort of spoil them in a way.
Right.
So, I started, outside, I was always an entrepreneur, I was, I had toys, I had books, I had clothes, I was go outside in the corner, just start selling them,
Yeah.
start like a little yard sale.
Hustler, straight
So yeah,
hustler.
like that's my siblings and stuff. So, and then, I would go to school, I want to be a lawyer. I loved getting my, like, in class, I'll
Mm.
participate, I was very, vocal.
Mm.
And at that time, Bill de Blasio was mayor when I was in elementary school, like middle school. And,
Yeah.
I always like, was very, very interested in politics. So something I wanted to do. And once I got to Houston, that's when I was like, well, in New York, Dominican barbers are something like crazy big. They're
Uh-huh.
always like, talked about, they're the best, all that. So I was like, that's very interesting. And then
Uh-huh.
when I moved to Houston, it was like all my friends, they're like, I had a friend that was a barber, and he's like, oh, like it's very like you work for yourself, like you're not in this rat race where it's like
Yeah.
you
Oh yeah.
always, yeah. So I was like, I want to work for myself. I don't want to work for somebody else. So I was like, I might start my own barber stuff. I want to learn. So that's what I
Mm.
did. I started looking at videos. practicing on myself,
Yeah.
practicing on my brother, and that's when I started getting the hand of it. And as I said, I was always very vocal, so I was like, like telling everybody, like, come to my house, I cut hair, I'm a barber, this
Hey.
and that, and that's sort of, it got to the point where I think it was my senior. That's when I fully took on like barber. Like I'm a barber.
Uh-huh.
So because I'm paying like proms coming up, graduations coming up, all these parties, all this and that. I'm paying $20, $30 cuts. I'm like I can't do that no more. So I started doing it myself. I started I'm like I could make a lot of money off of this because there's other people like me that are paying this amount of money,
Right.
and it's like tons of people. So I'm like I'm gonna start it. Once I got to Bentley, where I'm at right now in Boston,
Mm.
that's where I was like, sort of expanding my company more. I'm like, I'm like, it would be fire if I, sort of take on that role as a celebrity barber, potentially be one in the future. So I'm like, why not start by making connections right now?
Yeah.
I have people in Texas that I cut, people in New York that know I'm a barber, my best friends, people I grew up with. They
Mm.
know I'm a barber. I've cut them before. And in Boston, everybody knows I'm a barber. So it's like they're already telling people around like the Boston area that I'm a barber. People are always hitting me up for cuts and
Yeah,
this and
son.
that. So I'm like, that's like crazy already. And I'm like, I've only been doing this for like a year now. So it's like the amount of people that I've been cutting, the amount of like, how my word, my company has spread around and
Mm.
my like, self-employment barber thing has like, spread around Boston, just around like, the few
Yeah.
states that I've been in.
Right.
It's crazy. Yeah. So it's like, just that. And, I just want to, sort of become my own owner in a
Right.
way and
Yeah.
sort of run my own company, be my own person, so I can, not be in this rat race that's
Oh, for sure.
big.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, just being there for my family, being the first person to do everything for them. I want to be able to invest for them, provide a better
Hmm.
future. Because it's like not even, they're like, don't even do it for us, do it for yourself, do it
Right.
for your future, for your kids. And,
Yeah.
just that, set that, like, sort of like, she's like, my mom's like, follow the white people, this like generational wealth.
Uh-huh.
They pass it on. And that's something I want to start with my family. And for like, be a role model for future Latin leaders
Right.
as well.
Right. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's great to hear. Thank you for sharing. And what really resonated with me about your story was just, you went into being a barber so you could be your own boss. And that's what most people
Yeah.
are looking for, right? I mean, I don't know if you ever worked before, like a regular job before, but people get tired of their boss just yelling at them and stuff like that. And this when you've had enough of that, you just just want to go into business for yourself, be your own owner, be your own boss, and that's part of the reason why I selected business to study business as well, to do business because at
Hmm.
the end of the day, I want to be on my own time. I want to make my own, be my own boss. Not just make my own money, but make my own time. That's something that my mentor helped me realize that, you can lose money and you can make money back, but you really can't get your time back. You know what I mean? And that's what helped me shape in
Yeah.
my mind, the goal I really wanted for myself. Not, it really wasn't about how much money I made, but how much time I use to make that money. You know what I mean? Because
Correct.
people,
Yeah.
people, they're working hard, but they're not working smart. You know what I mean? Here,
Hmm.
let me share my screen real quick with you. Just a quick slide that I want to show you. Let me know if you can see it right now. Can you see it right now?
No, yeah, I can see it now.
Okay. Have you ever seen these quadrants before?
No, I've never seen this before.
Mm. So this is basically the four general ways of making money. So any way that someone makes money in the world is pretty much in one of these four quadrants, right? So that left side is going to be your active income, which is what most people are doing, right? Most people have a job, they're employees, right there on the top left, which is, they trade their time for money. If you're not an employee, you started up your own business, you're your own boss, which is, what you do as a barber, right? As a barber, small
Hmm.
coffee shop, whatever it could be, you're self-employed, which is still active income. Obviously, you're still trading your time to cut hair, to make money. But the difference between that and the employee is that this time you're trading more time for more money. So that's the price that comes with being your own boss, right? more time for more money.
Hmm.
So it's basically, everyone needs active income, right? We talked about that earlier. It's the reason why most people are on that left side is because it's secure. You know what I mean? Everyone needs money coming in every single week. So that's why they go into the left side of the quadrants. But what my mentor helped me focus on was the right side, the passive income. Most people aren't even aware of what passive income is, right? So they never know how to achieve it. I'm not going to talk too much
Of
about the
course.
investor quadrant on the bottom right because, like I mentioned to you earlier, hundreds of dollars of your paycheck going into stocks every week is not investing. That's what I thought. So when we talk
Yeah.
investing, we're talking thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. But the truth is, I mean, you and me are college students, right? We don't really have that money to invest. So the other three quadrants is how you're going to make that money to be an investor. And the easiest way to get into that quadrant is through the business quadrant, being a business owner. Because the difference here is that you own a system, something that's already existing, something that you can leverage, something you can walk away from. Once you build it up, you build it right. So you build it one time and you build it right, so you're able to walk away from it and you can see how it still operates while you're not there. You know what I mean? Like your job, if you're not there, do you think you're
Hmm.
gonna get paid? Probably not. If you have a couple clients and you don't show up to cut their hair, you gonna make any money off that? Probably not. You know what I
Nah.
mean? So that's what really interested
Yeah.
me about the passive income side. You know what I mean? I feel like it's something schools never teach you. You learn business from a teacher that never ran a business before. And I'm just like, dang, you know what I mean? It's kind of backwards, right?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So basically, there's just the four ways of making money, but the real message behind it is that's the four ways of living your life. You know what I mean? Because if you look at that left side, the active income, how much time do these people have for themselves, for their family, to do what they want to do? You know what I mean? But on the right side, there's more time, more of your free time for you to use, right? You're able to walk away
Yeah.
from something and it still makes money while you sleep, while you're on vacation. Income is still coming in. And obviously, it's an asset. I don't know if you ever try to build an asset by yourself. It takes time. You know what I mean? Most people, they have that employee mindset that, a job gives you a paycheck every week. So that's what a business is going to look like. It's not true. Let me tell you right here, right now, it's not true. Right? I feel like most people that know anything about business, they know that. Right? Because Amazon, they took like around 14 years to make their first profit. And that was just like, it's crazy, right? So that's like kind of the idea of what business looks like. And, I can give you a little bit more about the business in a little bit, but I kind of want to ask you first, you know what I mean? So when I talked about those quadrants, it's about the lifestyle, right? Not just money, but also time. So let me ask you, what does your like dream lifestyle look like that you want to have for yourself?
Yeah. So, like as I said, I'm a barber now. I want to, become potentially a celebrity barber.
Uh huh.
But, if it doesn't happen, I want to start my own barber shop, have like, that passive income there where I pay people,
Right.
I hire the best barbers, every city and just, would have them work for me. And after that, sort of invest into property. So,
Uh,
invest into different barber shops and do the same thing and have those people, just, money for me.
I get
And,
it.
just, have sort of just invest, into, potentially the real estate, PPM, all this,
Yeah,
and, sort of just invest, into these like homes, businesses, small businesses, all this and that, and sort of have like, that money generate for me while I'm, just traveling. I want to travel the world, enjoy, just relax, do what I want to do, try new things, and just that.
I get it. Yeah. So what it sounds to me like you're really passionate about, being a barber, cutting hair, and that's great to hear. And I see like your lifestyle. You want to own your own barber shop, and you want to. I imagine that you want to cut hair, for yourself. Not to pay your bills or anything, but just to do on your own time.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. You know what I mean? Most people
Yeah.
they do their passion, for the income, but for a passion. You know what I mean? Like for an engineer, for example, they like building things, but they only go into engineering for the paycheck. They don't get to build their own things. They get to build things that their job makes them build. Stuff like that, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's good to hear that you have your end goal, pretty clear already because that's
Yeah, and
something.
then also with like how I'm also studying finance,
Yeah.
so I kind of want to be like use that finance, what I'm learning from that, the connections, sort of make that like as my stable like foundation.
Yeah.
And I also want to study lawyer. I want to be a lawyer. So, I want to, work, have like once
Mm-hmm.
I go to law school, I want to, have my financial foundation. I want to be working as, at these like big like four companies,
Uh-huh.
KPMG, it's like so I want to do that. Have I'm like stable, financially stable
Mm-hmm.
there, and then sort of like expand that with like my lawyer, and
Right.
being a lawyer, for lawyers and stuff like that, and just have sort of going on investing into like my own proper law firm,
Uh-huh.
have my own barbershop on the side, all this and that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it, man. I get it. That's very ambitious, you know what I mean? Most people,
Mm,
when I ask them, what's their plan for the future, most people haven't really thought about it. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, I'll just go with the flow. I'll get there when I get there. And I feel like
yeah.
that's just the wrong mindset to have. You know what I mean? My mentor always taught me, if you're clear on what you want, then working backwards is the easiest way to get there. You know what I mean? Like if I know, like,
Mm,
okay, I want to buy my parents a house, $1 million house, you know, 4 bedrooms, whatever it is, like specific to the detail, then I know how much income I have to make for my business, how much income I have to make for my job to be able to achieve that goal. So it's very statistical. There's a lot of numbers that go on to it. And it's great to hear that you at least have like, a plan that you're going forward with, because what we're looking for is for people who are successful in what they do, who are serious, but have that extra ambition to build up an asset on their own time. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that's what
yeah.
separates people from the crowd. You know what I mean? Because 9 to 5 is where people go to work to make a living, but then once you get off, that 5 to 9 is to make a life, to put in that extra work in, to have something that other people don't have, right? Because if you want the
Yeah.
lifestyle of the minority, you can't listen to the majority, right? Because you're just gonna, they're the ones that have been working forever. So, it's good to hear, a little bit about your story, about your ambitions. And, it was great talking with you today. Did you have any more questions at all for anything, about anything for me?
Um, so like, what's gonna happen after this? Like, how are we gonna keep getting in touch and all
So,
this and that?
yeah, no worries. So after this, I feel like we had a good conversation today. I can send you a quick video or a book, uh, just some material that my mentor makes. A book, a famous book that maybe you might have read before, but just give you a little bit more insight, about the business that we operate and the mindset. And once you watch the video or read the book, then you know reach back out to me and you can we can rearrange another time to meet up again. I can ask my business coach to join us next time so she can break down for you, what our specific business model looks like. Because what we do here is e-commerce and franchising. Do you have any experience with those? Not
No.
much, not much. It's a pretty, I can explain it to you really quick. So e-commerce is essentially, the new business model, right? It's 2024. Most when you hear the word business, when my parents hear the word business, what they think of is, big buildings, big offices, inventory, investment, stuff like that, right? That's what most people think about when they hear business. But like I just said, like It's 2024. It's the 21st century. All you really need to start a business is one of these, right? A laptop, really. Everything's digital nowadays. So that's why what we do is e-commerce.
Yeah.
Uh, like Uber, for example. You know Uber? They're the largest taxi company in the world, but they don't own a single car. They don't own a single car. What they own is the platform that connects people with a car and need money with people who need a ride and have money to spend, right? Like
Yeah.
Airbnb. Airbnb doesn't own any property. What they own is the platform to connect people who have property and to people who need a place to stay. Like it's smart, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? It makes sense to just be that middleman, you know what I mean? So that's essentially what we do here. And the franchising part, which is a bunch of famous franchises out there like McDonald's, Starbucks. Let's use McDonald's for example. Like, do you think McDonald's makes the best cheeseburger? Hell no, right? I could probably make a better burger at home right now, but their burger, it's simple to make. You know what I mean? It's easy. You just put grill the patty, do the thing. They have a drive-through, they have a menu. Everything's already set up, easy to understand. So so that's how it's easy for McDonald's to, duplicate that and be like, okay, now I can open another McDonald's over here, open another McDonald's over here. And that's how they're global
Yeah.
with it now. You know what I mean? So what we do here, it's not easy, but it's simple. It's simple, so that's how, you know, I'm able to do it. I'm able to teach someone how to do it. And through that, we expand, and through that, that's how it becomes passive. You're able to scale your business up. You know what I mean? Most businesses, or most opportunities out there, really complex. It only requires, a very smart brain, someone with a PhD to understand. So that's why it's not able to scale up because only it's so hard. Only one person can understand it. You can't teach it to anyone. You know what I mean? So that's why what we do here, it's simple. You know what I mean? It's nothing too difficult. That's why it's easy to make passive. You know what I mean? So that's why we combine e-commerce and franchising. And, obviously, like I said, we'll talk a lot more about the specific details about it, next time. But, I know the meeting's been pretty long. So, after today, I'll definitely send you a video that you can take a look at and just reach back out to me if what you listened in it, resonates with you, if you relate, so we can talk more about the specific business details. So how does that sound, Angel?
Yeah, that
Sounds
sounds
good.
perfect. Yeah, sounds good.
All right, man. Is there a better way I can reach out to you, other than LinkedIn? To be honest, I don't really check my LinkedIn that often.
Yeah. I mean, messages would be good too.
Yeah, like phone number. All right,
Yeah.
sounds good. Can you send your phone number in the chat so I can add it? All right, sounds good. You got anything going on after this? Work or something?
I'm gonna see right now. We're probably gonna go out, watch the game, the Mexico game later
Oh yeah, huh? There you
against
go.
Ecuador.
All right, I won't
Yeah.
hold you off on that, and I'll send you a couple. I'll send you the video, and let's just keep in touch, and see when we can meet up again.
All right. It was nice meeting you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
nice meeting you, Angel. We'll talk soon.
All right.
All right,
Bye.
have a good one.